Hello, and welcome to our webinar, Great Graphic Novels Book Buzz Part 2. I'm Sarah Hunter, editor for the Graphic Novels and Books for Youth sections at Booklist. Before we begin, I'd like to go over some technical details. Links to today's slide presentation and title list were included in the reminder email you received from Zoom 1 hour ago. To download them, please open that email, scroll to the bottom, and click on the links located there. You can also download the slides and title list by typing the URLs on this screen into your web browser. If you have any trouble accessing these materials, please contact us at webinars@booklistonline.com. The audience is in listen-only mode, but we welcome any questions you may have. On the bottom of your screen is a toolbar with a button for Q&A. If you have a question or need technical assistance, simply click Q&A and type your message into the box that appears. We will do our best to respond to all tech-related questions, and we'll pass along all other questions to today's panelists so they can follow up with you after the webinar. Booklist offers closed captioning on all webinars. To enable or disable captions on your screen, please look for and click the Captions icon on the toolbar mentioned earlier. From there, you can select Show or Hide Captions from the menu that appears. If you choose to enable subtitles, you can adjust the size of the captions at any time by selecting Caption Settings. And finally, Booklist expects all participants to maintain an atmosphere of respect and fairness. Anyone who violates this standard of behavior, including engaging in any form of harassment, may, at the discretion of the organizers, be immediately. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Whitney Leopard, Executive Editor at Random House Graphics and Ink Pop, Danielle Presley, Marketing Associate at Penguin Young Readers, Jen Chan, Executive Director of Sales and Marketing, and Madison Ferreira, Sales Specialist, and Olivia Hansen, Senior Trade Marketing Specialist at Andrews McMeel, and Kristen Luby, Associate Director of School and Library Marketing at Abrams. First, we'll hear from Whitney Leopard. Whitney is the executive editor at Random House Graphic and Ink Pop, where she acquires and edits graphic novels for kids and teens. She's also a frequent speaker at college comic programs and comic conventions all around the country. Since helping launch RH Graphic in 2020, she has worked on a variety of titles for children and teens, such as The Magic Fish, The Witches of Brooklyn series, and The Moth Keeper. From translations to adaptations, Whitney has had the joy of bringing fan favorite stories to life in graphic novel form, including the New York Times bestselling graphic novel series, Francine Pascal's Sweet Valley Twins. Thanks for joining us, Whitney.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you everyone here. I am just thrilled to get to talk to all of you about Ink Pop, which is RH Graphics' new manga and global comics line. If you want to go to the next slide, Random House Graphic has been around since 2020, like Sarah just said. We launched and we've been doing graphic novels for young readers. We've been doing chapter books. We've been doing middle grade and YA. Our goal at Random House Graphic has always been to do a graphic novel on every bookshelf for every type of reader, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, every genre. And that has led to us wanting to start Ink Pop, which is our manga line. And if you go to the next slide, Ink Pop is going to focus on English translations from comics from all over the world, whether it's in Japan or Korea, as well as bringing over webtoons from scroll into print form. I feel like one of the questions that I get quite often is, are we going to keep the format is for Japanese, is it going to be reading right to left, and for Korean, left to right? And the fact is we're going to match the original intention of the comics. So our manga is going to read right to left, and our other comics will read left to right, depending on where they are coming from and how they were originally intended when they were printed. So that is one of the big focuses, is that we want to bring not only manga into kids and teen spaces, but we want to make sure that we're sticking to the original intention of the books that we are publishing. And then if you go into the next slide, Ink Pop's mission is to curate a list of manga, manhwa, and webtoons specifically for kids and teens. And as part of Random House Children's Books, Ink Pop is uniquely positioned to thoughtfully and enthusiastically bring this category to younger readers. We also plan to add clarity. We know that manga is rated. How manga is rated can sometimes be confusing to readers in the United States. As part of Random House Children's Books and RH Graphic, Ink Pop is going to be labeling our books to be accepted as the industry standard when it comes to US children's market, to make it easier for parents and teachers and even booksellers to be able to point to kids in the right direction. So the same way that we categorize our graphic novels is going to be the same way that we are categorizing our manga to make it clear to everyone what books are age relevant to what readers. Parents, new and curious young readers often don't know where to start and either jump in or they pick up the wrong thing and have become wary of manga forever, which is not what we want because reading any type of book is always the goal. And my goal is clear that any concerns on whether my goal is to clear any concerns on whether a book is age relevant and make it easy to introduce new stories to existing and future manga fans. More than anything, we at Ink Pop want to bring over more stories from people with different experiences and perspectives. And we've only tapped into a fraction of the market for the stories that are available. And we are just really honored to be able to start bringing more over. Next slide. And so this is our initial launch. These are our first three titles. Our first two titles, two series for Ink Pop. That I Want to Be a Girl is available now, and My Life as an Internet Novel will be coming out this October, with I Want to Be a Girl Volume 2 coming out this November. And then next slide. I Want to Be Your Girl by Yumi Taka. Excuse me. I'm in Arizona and it is very dry here. By Yumi Takahashi is our first manga from Japan. It is a fun high school rom-com that is dealing with extremely relevant issues. It's about what it means to be an ally, but also about how good intentions can still lead to the wrong results. Our main character, Hime, and her best friend Akira are struggling with the change in their friendship because Akira has decided to live as her true self and start coming to school representing that she is a girl and she is going to start dressing like a girl. And it is a big change for their dynamic because Hime has been in love with Akira since they were children. And so suddenly have her crush come to school dressed as a girl and like being her true self. Hime is wondering both how can she best support Akira, but also what does that say about her and her love? And what does that say about them? When at the end of the day, like Akira just wants to be her true self and doesn't want to hide who she is. And Hime is, Hime is a representation of all of us where she is, truly good intention. She wants to be there for her friend. But in this story, Hime will often make the wrong choice for the right reasons. And it's a story of just truly making mistakes even though you intended to have positive results and just trying your best to be a good friend, but how sometimes friendships can be complicated, especially as they grow, especially as you're going through high school. And it's just this really sweet and touching story of both identity and coming of age. And it's something that whenever me and Jordan Blanca, who's our editor at Ink Pop, came across, it really touched us. And it also felt like something we hadn't seen before in this space, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to acquire it. And also one of the reasons why we wanted it to be the first title on our launch for Ink Pop. One of the positive things about this is that the series is only going to be 4 volumes. And for any of you manga readers out there, you might know that tends to be on the short end because there's a lot of volumes and a lot of different manga series. And so we felt that this was just going to be a strong series to launch our list with. And then if you want to go to the next slide. Yeah, and then My Life as an Internet Novel is our first manhwa from Korea. I laugh a little bit because this is one that I've actually been a personal fan of for some time. I was reading it as a scroll comic, and my niece actually introduced it to me, and she's a teen. And we both are huge fans of this series. But the main character, Danny, wakes up one morning and she finds herself in a world that's like her own, but slightly different. And she realizes that she's been transported into a contemporary romance web novel where she's not the main character, but she's the main character's best friend. So she's supposed to be that support sidekick character that helps the main heroine decide who her love interest is, surrounded by all these beautiful people. The only problem is that Danny has watched a lot of K-dramas and has read a lot of fan fiction and knows that the role of the friend isn't always a good one. And so she's spending a lot of time trying to figure out how she can get back to her world for her own protection and sanity because she doesn't want to be dragged into this drama. It's this really sweet story. It has romance, comedy, drama, action, and a mystery twist that just continues with Danny's journey as she figures out both what is real, what is from the real world, and what is part fiction. And just really excited to share this story with you. I'm very curious for anyone who might be familiar with the series, if you have a favorite of who you'd like Danny to end up with, because I, of course, have my personal favorite. And while our first two titles are YA, this is only just the beginning. We are actively planning on more chapter book and middle grade manga for kids and teens here in the US, and we can't wait to share more details with you in the future. And that is it from me.
Thank you so much, Whitney. Next, we'll hear from Danielle Presley. Danielle is the marketing associate at Penguin Young Readers in New York City. Thanks for being here today, Danielle.
Thanks, Sarah. Today, I'll be sharing a few of Penguin's favorite graphic novels. With summer sadly halfway over already and school starting before you know it, I'll quickly go through some of our graphic novel offerings from this year and coming up. So you can go to the next slide. Dan and Green Gables by award-winning author Ray Terciero and Eisner Award nominee and illustrator Claudia Aguirre is a modern retelling of Anne of Green Gables that explores themes of queer identity, unconventional families, and finding home in unexpected places. 15-year-old Dan Stewart Alvarez, abandoned by his mother, must adjust to life with his estranged grandparents in rural Tennessee. You can go to the next slide. Facing the challenges of high school and his queerness in a conservative community, Dan builds new relationships and discovers his true self. Set in the nostalgic mid-1990s, this heartfelt story offers authentic Mexican-American representation and addresses important themes of mental health and resilience. And you can go to the next slide. Now, the original Raven Boys novel and series is one of my favorites, and a quote from the last book in the series was actually my first tattoo. So believe me when I say that I'm super excited for the graphic novel adaptation of Maggie Stiefvater's The Raven Cycle series. For anyone who hasn't read the original novels, The Raven Boys follows Blue Sargent, who comes from a family of psychics, but lacks their abilities. She joins Gansey, Adam, Ronan, and Noah from a wealthy private school on a quest to find a Welsh king rumored to be sleeping beneath the mountains. You can go to the next slide. The graphic novel adaptation with vibrant full-color illustrations brings to life the thrilling and magical journey of Blue and the Raven Boys, capturing the essence of the original novel while offering a fresh visual experience. The Raven Cycle series touches on themes of grief, class systems, found family, impossible love, magic, and history, all set in a quiet Virginia town. And then next up is Good Old-Fashioned Korean Spirit. This is the latest graphic novel from Kim Hyun-suk and Ryan Estrada, the creators of the band Book Club and No Rules Tonight. It's almost Daeborum in 1980s South Korea. This is a holiday that celebrates the first full moon of the year. But Taeki couldn't care less. All she wants is to spend time with her boyfriend Kiwoo, avoid her controlling father, and play music for her mass dance club. But Taeki's weird granny and her even weirder friends have other plans for her. They drag her, Kiwoo, and the rest of the dance club to their remote farm to celebrate Daeborum, the old-fashioned way. You can go to the next slide. Featuring beloved characters from Band Book Club and No Rules Tonight, Good Old-Fashioned Korean Spirit is a standalone story that melds tradition with the unexpected and the spooky with the sweet. And so I'm really excited for this next one. Think Roller Girl, but with horses instead of skates. Creaky Acres is a heartwarming middle grade graphic novel about being the new kid, making new friends, and learning to trust yourself through the power of horseback riding. You can see on the next slide, the book features a charming cast with distinct quirks, and both the characters and the animals will grab young readers' hearts. It's for readers coping with change, the new kid, being the new kid. It's for readers of friendship stories, horse lovers, kids dealing with anxiety, and it's also a subtle look at class dynamics and privilege in a rural community. Next slide. Schoolbot 9000. This is a new series that explores the chaos that ensues when robots replace human teachers at a middle school. James Gordon is already frustrated with the omnipresent robots in his life, from the drone bugs to the dog bots and even his homebot babysitter. You can go to the next slide. His teachers have always cared about his feelings and supported his art, but when schoolbots take over his favorite teacher's roles, prioritizing test scores and efficiency over genuine care and support, James's world is turned upside down. Determined to fight back against the unsettling glitches and impersonal nature of schoolbots, James is on a mission to save his school. And then next is Deepwater Creek. This is a thrilling new addition to the growing middle grade horror genre, perfect for fans of Five Nights at Freddy's and Stranger Things. We join brothers Wade and Andrew, along with their friends Camilla and Tommy, as a fishing trip turns into a nightmare when they hook a monstrous creature in their fog-covered creek. You can go to the next slide. This book not only delivers horror, but also has heart. The characters grapple with more than just a monster, fighting off the pull of fear and depression while learning how to lift each other up and look at this stunning watercolor art. It like, brings every scene to life, capturing both the eerie and heartfelt moments beautifully. This is a must-read for young horror enthusiasts. And then next I have The Elephant in the Room, Mabel Makes Up a Friend. This follows the adventures of Mabel, a creative second grader who feels left out in her new class. She finds solace in her imaginary elephant friend, Mr. E, who helps her navigate the challenges of school life. And you can go to the next slide. This graphic novel is an ode to the magic of childhood and the importance of friendship, both real and imagined. It seamlessly integrates educational content like plant biology and geography with a fun narrative, teaching young readers about self-acceptance, creativity, and the beauty of accepting oneself, quirks and all. And then on the next slide, I have 3 of our biographies. First being Wilma Rudolph. This is the incredible true story of sports superhero Wilma Rudolph, and it's the second graphic novel presented by Stephen Curry. When Wilma Rudolph was just a young girl, she lost strength in her leg and foot after contracting polio, forcing her to wear a leg brace until she was 9. She was told that she might never walk the way she used to again, but this didn't hold Wilma back, and she became one of the fastest women in the world and going on to win 3 Olympic gold medals. And then the next 2 titles are new books coming in the Who Was graphic novel line that features immersive storytelling and gorgeous art unique to the featured writer and illustrator. The Titanic tells the tale of the Titanic's tragic voyage through the perspective of 3 diverse groups of survivors, a set of Syrian-Lebanese siblings, Jamila and Elias Yared, the Haitian-French LaRoche family, and American socialite Margaret Brown. And then the next book focuses on Jacques Cousteau as he works to develop the Aqualung, the first modern scuba device. Cousteau forever changed the way people experience life underwater with his invention, and the book's exploration of his combined passions for filmmaking and tinkering will surely inspire young readers interested in art and STEM. And then next up is Cassie and the House of Memories. This is a debut graphic novel by Dean Stewart. It's a touching story about a girl who embarks on a magical journey through her grandfather's memories. Cassie has always cherished the time spent with her grandfather, enjoying his games, songs, and stories. However, during her latest visit, she notices that her grandfather is losing track of things, including the stories they share and even who Cassie is. When he goes missing after wandering off from his backyard, Cassie embarks on a quest to find him. You can go to the next slide. This title explores themes of family bonds and dementia while presenting them in an age-appropriate manner for younger readers. The vivid, captivating art enhances the narrative, making it a compelling read for fans of magical realism. And the next is also one of my favorite series, The Dirt. This is the 3rd nonfiction graphic novel from Lindsay Lay. In this one, she introduces critters of all sizes in this fact-filled book about the dirt-dwelling creatures that contribute to the soil food web and are crucial to the health of the world. You can go to the next slide. You can join her on this graphic novel, graphic and grimy deep dive into the dirt, and you don't want to miss her explorations into the deep sea and the darkest corners of the planet in her other titles in the series, The Deep and the Dark. And then lastly, I have The Flip Side. This YA graphic novel is a supernatural survival story that is also hauntingly accurate, is a hauntingly accurate depiction of depression. Theo's best friend has died and he can't pull himself out of his sadness. It's a sadness that those around him don't seem to respect or even notice. And then something even more disconcerting happens. His town literally flips upside down and everyone disappears except for a threatening, shape-shifting monster and a snarky teen girl who knows her way around this flipped world. You can go to the next slide. This is a tremendously unique and suspenseful story. The flip side tackles grief and depression in a fascinating and affecting way. And then my last two slides, one being our graphic novel catalog. I just wanted to call out that linked here on the screen, and the QR code is our brochure, which highlights all of our graphic novels, including our backlist. And we try to update this seasonally so that so that you never miss a title. And then my last slide is a thank you. So thank you for being here with me and the other panelists. The PYR School and Library team has more resources on our website, such as Booklist, discussion guides, author videos, storytime activities, and more. You would just need to go to penguinclassroom.com, or you can reach us at any of the social media handles listed here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Danielle. Next, we'll hear from Jen Chan. Following her passion as a consummate reader and a lover of art, graphic design, and books, Jen began her career working in bookstores soon after graduating college. She moved into the publishing world in 2001, working in trade sales for W.W. Norton, PRH Client Services, and for a number of independent art publishers. She is currently the Executive Director of Sales and Marketing at Fantagraphics Books. The floor is yours, Jen.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I'll be presenting highlights from our fall list. Please note that age ranges are included on each title slide, along with the on-sale dates in red. First up is the third book in our new Lost Marvels reprint series. For 13 months in the mid-1980s, Marvel assembled some of its strongest artists and writers to tell gritty, harrowing, and blackly humorous adventure stories, ranging from gangster noir to historical battlefields, to the deadly Old West, to post-apocalyptic futures. Unseen for nearly 40 years, here is some of the most shocking work of artists such as John Severin, John Buscema, and Michael Golden, and writers Chuck Dixon, Doug Murray, and Archie Goodwin, to name a few. Stories include Severin and Dixon's By Rail to Vladivostok, Murray and Golden's The Nam, 1967, Sam Glanzman's Of War and Peace, The Trinity, Will Junkuntz's Blood and Guts series, and Herb Timpanet's Sky Warrior series. Savage Tales of the 1980s reprints all 8 issues of the magazine's run, the first time they have seen print since 1986, nearly 40 years ago. They are reproduced in facsimile format, including full color covers. Next is Search and Destroy, Volume 3. Final conflicts rage in this spectacular conclusion to Atsushi Kaneko's epic cyberpunk manga series. The broken and discarded creatures of the city have had enough of the caste system that keeps them servile, and they rise up to strike. Doro, the little thief, must confront their past and make impossible decisions about their future. Hayeku's quest to retrieve the stolen pieces of her body is nearly at an end, and her path of righteous and bloody vengeance leads directly to the great betrayer, her father. Robots, humans, creatures, monsters, no one will survive unscathed. Search and Destroy features stunning and visceral artwork and a story that is startlingly relevant to today's audiences and is deeply intertwined with the work of Osamu Tezuka's classic samurai manga masterpiece, Dororo. An artistic achievement nearly 40 years into Carol Tyler's comics-making career, The Ephemerata features Tyler's most breathtaking picture-making ever and formally stunning cartooning. During collisions between life and death, estrangement and loss, Tyler turned to her pen to face facts and extract meaning from the oddly sacred experience. Exploring realms metaphorical, half-imagined, and all too real, she explored previously uncharted emotional territory for herself and others in a work that is both painfully intimate and philosophically rich.
Combining art and text in multiple ways, in the traditional comics panel grid, as words and illustration, as organically flowing images surrounded by floating text, she depicts the inner monologue of a fallible human being grappling with questions of profound relevance. Tyler's memoirist skills also rise to the fore, excavating and colliding scenes from her history, delineating with sensitive intuition ways in which the inevitability of grief is built into our lives and our loves.
To struggle in the face of loss is a universal experience. To turn it into this compassionate, deep and beautiful book takes a true artist. Dog Tangle opens with a town hall meeting in a Taco Bell nestled in the bland corporate environment of Business Park. A man shouting to anyone who will listen about the evils of current zoning laws meets a woman who works in pharmaceutical marketing. They begin a relationship, they get married. From their union springs the idea of the hypermutt, a many-headed mass of dogs that absorbs each new dog it encounters. This debut graphic novel from Chicago cartoonist Max Huffman about an awful power couple who defied God and nature in creating a hound of hell for our times is at turns a rich satirical fable, a white-collar black comedy, and a stylistic tour de force, blending elements of abstraction, cubism, and visual sight gags. One of the most visually distinctive and funny graphic novels in recent memory, Dog Tangle is also underpinned with a deep mistrust of corporate and cultural hegemony, cementing its relevance in our increasingly oligarchical times. This book makes no claims to scientific validity and is in no way intended for informational purposes. So declares Miguel Villa in the outset of his new graphic novel, Comfortless, a taxonomy of the masks with which we pretend to live. The book collects a kaleidoscope of weaving character studies, united by the ways vanity, jealousy, and selfishness manifest via fear, vice, and lust. Georgia ends her relationship with Eva because she thinks her fling with Nick has resulted in her pregnancy. Nick has a secret to reveal to Danielle, but he can't express it. Stella meets Daniel and tells him about the strange events they have experienced in recent years. Simon attends a New Year's Eve party knowing that he is positive for COVID. Set in the Venetian province of Italy, the themes Villa addresses are global. Comfortless is a catastrophic fresco of a humanity adrift, where fears and selfishness draw a merciless map of the emptiness of our times. Buenos Aires, Argentina, 1768. It is a dark and a foreboding night when the boat arrives from Europe, bringing 3 shadowy figures to shore. The Maria sisters have come to take the New World by storm. At once righteous and menacing, the sisters will exert their insidious powers over generations, leaving a wreckage of shattered spirits in their wake. Told through the eyes of the people whose lives the sisters have cast asunder, witchcraft is a mesmerizing mystery to piece together. Strange magic, dark humor, and a fiery undercurrent of female rage cohere into a heady tale of colonialism, indigenous folklore, and modern agoraphobia. A kaleidoscopic work of literary fiction, crafted with vision and verve, Witchcraft assures Sole Otero as one of South America's most dynamic cartoonists. Tommy Parrish is an Australian trans cartoonist and one of the most distinctive voices in contemporary comics and graphic novels. Balancing emotional honesty with a keen awareness of the human condition, Parrish navigates fear, loneliness, identity, body politics, queer desire, masculinity, and the ever-fluid nature of all human relationships. The Past is a grotesque animal collects over 24 short stories of varying lengths, interspersed with ephemera from Parrish's own life, diary entries, photographs, illustrations, paintings, and more. Parrish's autobiographical elements inform their voice as a writer, and the ways their characters constantly find one another adrift in their own seas of experience, current situations, trauma, and desire. How those characters coexist, how they are complicated by outside forces and internal ones, affect our hardwired need for meaningful connection. The book also showcases Parrish's singular and assured visual style, blending clear lines, expressionistic character designs, and gorgeously complex hand-painted color. And last but not least, we have Nocturnos by Laura Perez. Nocturnos delves into the ethereal world of the night, when the mundane vibes of the day cede to a mysterious atmosphere in which anything seems possible. Haunting narration connects a series of vignettes that capture glimpses of people's lives as they navigate the nighttime, a traumatic collision while driving down a dimly lit road, a bedtime story that blurs the bounds of the imaginary, a walk through the woods that leads to strange symbols. This nighttime tour encompasses lush forests, dreamscapes, and the shadowy corners of private rooms. Along the way, these stories question the truths veiled in dreams, a nature of fear and loneliness, and the unknowable aura of the nocturnal world. In Nocturnos, her most masterful work to date, Spanish comics artist Laura Perez explores the magic and melancholy we encounter when dusk descends. That's it for me. Thanks again to all who registered and for tuning in. All the titles in my presentation are available on Edelweiss and NetGalley, where you can download digital galleys and previews. Please feel free to contact me if you want to join our catalog mail list or with any review copy requests or questions you may have. I also send out newsletters for both our adult and our children's titles, so please get in touch if you'd like to sign up. And be sure to check us out and follow us on social media as well. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Jen. Next, we'll hear from Madison Ferrara and Olivia Hanson. Madison has been with Andrews McMeel for 3 years after attending Missouri State University to pursue an English literature degree. When she is not working on calendar sales or assisting Wendy Nymaster in children's sales presentation, she is working toward her 2025 reading goal of 50 books, or more likely on a walk with her 2 German shepherds. Olivia is the senior trade marketing specialist at Andrews McMeel, where she's living her dream of working in book publishing. When she's off the clock, she's busy collecting houseplants, tackling her towering TBR pile, and snuggling her cat. Take it away, Team Andrews McMeel.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Olivia, and I'm with Andrews McMeel, and I will be presenting our adult titles today. So up first, next slide. We have The Joy of Snacking from New Yorker cartoonist and comedian Hilary Fitzgerald Campbell. This is a hilarious and heartfelt graphic novel that explores life through the lens of food and our relationships with it. Next slide. With her signature wit and honesty, Campbell traces her journey from picky childhood eater to a woman reclaiming joy and self-acceptance through food. Along the way, she tackles body image, disordered eating, and the social pressures around food, all while serving up laugh-out-loud moments and snackable wisdom. Next slide, please. Featuring quirky snack recipes like a baggie of goldfish and burnt toast, this memoir is a celebration of connection, comedy, and the freedom to get fries for the table. Next slide. This is My Perfectly Imperfect Body by beloved cartoonist Debbie Tung. This is a deeply personal and beautifully illustrated memoir about her lifelong journey with body image. With honesty and tenderness, she recounts her teenage struggles with dieting and disordered eating, the pressure to be thin, and the emotional toll it took. Next slide. Through gentle comics and heartfelt storytelling, Debbie explores how she slowly learned to treat her body with kindness and love. Next slide. This is a relatable and empowering book offers a safe space for anyone navigating self-acceptance in a world obsessed with perfection and reminds us that everybody is worthy just as it is. Next is Let Me in Your Window from best-selling author and online sensation Adam Ellis. This is a chilling new collection of graphic horror stories that will haunt your imagination. Following the success of New York Times best-selling book Bad Dreams in the Night, this sequel delivers 9 all-new tales packed with haunted houses, urban legends, and eerie twists. Next slide. With stories like Sleepwalker, Old Machines, and Sunken Express, Ellis blends humor and horror in a style that's both nostalgic and terrifying. Next slide, please. Designed as a haunted artifact with a creepy die-cut cover, this book is perfect for fans of Stranger Things, Black Mirror, and classic campfire ghost stories. Just don't read it alone. Up next is The Age of Video Games, which is a vibrant time-traveling graphic novel that dives deep into the history of video games from the 1960s to today. Esteemed French gaming journalist Jean Zide and gaming-obsessed illustrator Emily Rouge join forces to explore the age of video games, an immersive, action-packed time travel journey full of wit, insight, and hope. Next slide, please. Readers explore the people, inventions, and cultural shifts that built a $214 billion industry. With colorful art and witty storytelling, this book celebrates gaming's pioneers and covers everything from 8-bit classics to VR and esports. Next slide. Whether you're a lifelong gamer or just curious, this is your ultimate power-up in video game history. Next is Bloody Mary, a hauntingly beautiful graphic novel that tells the life of Mary Tudor, from her earliest memories as Henry VIII's daughter to her rise as England's first reigning queen. Told entirely from Mary's perspective, this richly illustrated watercolor narrative humanizes the controversial monarch, often reduced to her nickname, Bloody Mary. Next slide. With historical quotes, dramatized events, and a focus on the emotional toll of power, author Christina German paints a vivid portrait of a woman shaped by rejection, faith, and loneliness. Next slide. It's a powerful, intimate look at royalty, religion, and the cost of the crown. Up next is High Class Homos, a sparkling royal rom-com that turns tradition on its head. In High Class Homos, Princess Sophia and Prince August are 2 royal best friends who both happen to be gay. They devise a plan to fake a marriage and dodge their parents' matchmaking schemes. Next slide. What follows is a hilarious and heartfelt romp through castle life, secret crushes, and romantic chaos. With vibrant art and witty dialogue, this graphic novel blends the charm of Heartstopper with the fantasy of Cinderella, celebrating queer love, friendship, and the freedom to write your own fairy tale. Next slide. Author Momo Zeri's webtoon that this book is based on has over 117 million views and 1.1 million subscribers. And now I will pass it over to Madison.
All right, hi everyone. Again, I'm Madison and I'm going to talk about our kids' titles. So next slide, please. So I'm going to spend a couple minutes on the next in series slide. So first up, we have Sorceline Book 3. This series follows Sorceline as she learns more about magical creatures and about herself. It is a mystical world that feels like it could exist on any edge of any forest. So book 1 came out in summer of 2022, book 2 came out in summer 2023, and now book 3 coming fall 2025. Next is Haru Book 3, a favorite trilogy wraps up with a final installment in the Haru saga. We were first introduced to Haru in spring of 2024, and book 2 came out just this past October. And now the final book in this incredible trilogy, Haru Fall, will come out October 28th. Next is Life Really Sucks Books 2. From an international writer and illustrator team, this is a bright graphic novel series sure to resonate with anyone who has ever lost a sock or anyone who has ever wanted to find their own. It's SpongeBob meets Adventure Time, but sweeter and with some wonderful emotional depth that kids will not see coming but will certainly feel. Next is Detective Bean's Adventures in Cat Town. Following up the runaway hit Detective Bean's and the Case of the Missing Hat, which pubbed in October of 2024 and was named a Booklist Editor's Choice, Detective Bean's Adventures in Cat Town is that same winning formula of mysteries, animals, humor, and graphic novels. Rounding out the next in series is Memes and Thieves 2. Now to enter into another animal world, just one where ferrets rule. This is volume 2 in the graphic novel series for ages 10 to 12. It is an original, entertaining story full of ferret mayhem, unlikely friendship, and discovering that running away actually doesn't solve anything. Next slide, please. All right, we have The Scarlet Ship. This is a pickup from a French publisher and is a gorgeous story about Mallow and his grandmother. His grandmother is a famous artist, and Mallow wants to be just like her. They board the Scarlet Ship, a fantastical skyborne ship for the trip of a lifetime, but it is overrun with pirates, as in they're all about art privacy. You can go to the next slide, please. The leader of this evil group is Captain Magenta. Captain Magenta values law, order, and hates art, and is determined to stop creativity forever. In the end, the villain, Captain Magenta, who is just scary enough for this age reader, comes around to the idea of art and proves that not everything is black and white, that you can change your mind and it is never too late to do the right thing. Next slide. This beautiful and timely story about the importance of art, told through equally beautiful friendship between a grandmother and her grandson, is sure to be a hit with readers and those who love to gift stories. Next up, we have T.S. Hullabaloo. If adults have their demons, kids have their hullabaloos. With notes of Gravity Falls, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and X-Men, it's like Inside Out, but all on the outside. Next slide. This story follows 12-year-old Jack Deering as he starts middle school, and though later than most, he meets his hullabaloo, T.S. In Jack's world, children's unique neurodivergencies manifest themselves as rambunctious, often disrupted creatures called hullabaloo. This book is based on author Zach Rosenberg's experience with being diagnosed with Tourette's in 6th grade. Next slide. Readers will learn about Tourette's, bipolar, autism spectrum disorder, dyslexia, without any of these exact defining and confining terms. Jack and his new friends and their varied hullabaloos will have to work together to not only navigate middle school, but also learn how to adapt, tame, and coexist with their hullabaloos and even save the entire town. Next up, we have Masks. This story is of humans and monsters, but only a few humans know monsters are real because they hide from hunters called the Knights, who seek to find and eliminate monsters. Next slide. Poe is an orphan monster who has made a makeshift home in an abandoned building and has taken in fellow orphan monsters Rice and Shelley. Poe insists that they stay hidden so that they can stay safe, but there is one night all year that they can go out without fear, Halloween. Next slide. The color palette in this book is perfectly paired with a story. It is moody and muted and then gets a little brighter when the reader might need a break from the scariness and suspense. This is a beautifully nuanced story about all the masks that we wear and about the things we think we need to hide about ourselves. Next up, we have Folk Remedy. Folk Remedy is the beginning of a new series, and book 2 is slated for fall 2026. This is for readers who love anime, manga, Japanese tradition, and folklore. Story follows Maple, whose mother runs the village apothecary business and not only expects Maple to become an apprentice and carry on the business, but also to adhere to and believe in the old ways. The setting is 1920s Japan, a time that is beginning to see rapidly advancing technology, and Maple is enamored by the glamorous and modern urban life that her new friend Kiono usually lives in. Next slide. Kiono encourages her to embrace advancements and to question the old ways of her mother, including the belief in magic and the yokai, which are spirits and supernatural beings. But when Maple accidentally releases a mischievous yokai named Ember, they are swept up in a hidden spirit world with only a book of stories given to her mother. This is a fantastical story readers will immediately be immersed in. Next slide. And then we could go to, last but not least, Aurora. So Aurora is the first in an all-new graphic novel series for YA audience ages 12. The author, Miranda Garfinkel, is Red of Overly Sarcastic Productions. The Overly Sarcastic Productions is a popular YouTube channel that makes snarky summaries of literature, history, and mythology. Aurora is Red's original graphic novel story. Next slide. And it's fantasy at its best, featuring gods in human form, an outcast elf, a Farron, which is a type of half-beast, and of course, magic. The story follows Vash, a great god who has been killed by the Collector, also known as the God Taker. She's the villain of the story and is an extremely powerful immortal mage. She has been studying souls for centuries in an effort to set her own soul free. Kendall, the human who shared a body with Vash, awakens in Vash's now emptied body with only one goal: to save his god. Next slide. Some things that make this book extra special is the author platform. She meets her books here. She meets her fans here in this book. She knows this audience through her YouTube and knows how to write what they want to read. There's also exclusive material like character Aaron's diary entries. This bonus material is exclusive to the books, which will draw in those super fans and already familiar with the story from an online experience, and will appeal to the massive readership out there looking for a new fantasy adventure that might be unfamiliar with the webcomic. And right now we have book 2 slated for spring 2026. That should be it. Thank you guys again.
Thank you so much, Team Andrews McMeel. And finally, we'll hear from Kristen Luby. Kristen is the Associate Director of School and Library Marketing at Abrams. Kristen fell in love with reading at her hometown library in Middleton, New Jersey, and visits her local Bay Ridge branch of the Brooklyn Public Library as often as possible. Thanks for joining us today, Kristen.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Luby, Associate Director of School and Library Marketing. I'm excited to be here today to share graphic novel and manga highlights from Abrams Fanfare, Abrams Comic Arts, and Kana. So let's start with Abrams Fanfare on the next slide. This is our graphic novel imprint for kids and teens that we launched last year, featuring our all-star graphic novel backlist titles, including some highlights that you see on this slide and exciting new releases. On the next slide is a few highlights from the year so far. Dino Poet is a new series from Origami Yoda creator Tom Engelberger that asks, what if dinosaurs could teach poetry? SLJ calls it laugh out loud funny. Cooking Contest is the third Bat-Cat book, continuing the spooky fun adventures of our non-binary part bat, part cat hero. SLJ gave the third book a starred review and called it another hit. Next, Ghost Town is a spooky middle grade graphic novel perfect for fans of Ghostbusters and Stranger Things. And Delana is the graphic novel adaptation of Tamora Pierce's first book in the Song of the Lioness Quartet, which Booklist calls stunning. Next, moving on to new releases coming this fall. What do you get when you mix theater kid drama, boarding school intrigue, a classic murder mystery, and an award-winning creative team? You get This Place Kills Me, a must-read YA graphic novel coming in August. Best-selling creators Mariko Tamaki and Nicole Go deliver a gripping whodunit set at a 1980s boarding school told through comics, letters, diary entries, and news articles, creating a fresh and immersive format. Next slide. Abby is the new student at Wilburton Academy, struggling to fit in until she connects with Elizabeth, a popular girl and the star of the school's Romeo and Juliet production. Elizabeth warns Abby about the dangers of fitting in with a popular crowd. Next slide. And the next morning, Elizabeth is found dead, and her death is ruled a suicide. Abby is convinced that there's more to the story than this, and as she digs deeper, she uncovers dark secrets and realizes one may have been worth killing for. This is a twisty mystery that explores queer identity, belonging, and the complexities of teen friendship. Next up is a gorgeous YA urban fantasy from Bex Glendinning on Starlit Shores, which is already shining bright with 2 starred reviews. When Alex returns to Indigo Harbor, the sleepy seaside town she barely remembers, to settle her late grandmother's estate, she expects to grieve. What she doesn't expect are falling stars, magical oddities, and whispers of a mysterious woman named Elizabeth. Who was this woman, and how did she know Alex's grandmother? Next slide. As Alex unravels the secrets her grandmother left behind, she begins a journey of healing, self-discovery, and love. On Starlit Shores tackles grief, queer identity, and acceptance through the dreamy fantasy lens, perfect for fans of The Magic Fish and the Dark Matter of Mona Starr. Next slide. Bex Glendilling's art is lush and luminous with a color palette that practically glows off the page. Next, we have an enchanting new middle grade graphic novel and the first in a multi-book fantasy series that we're calling Anne of Green Gables meets How to Train Your Dragons. In Kindred Dragons, readers meet Alice, a spirited young girl obsessed with dragons. On Prince Edward Island, where she lives, fairies deliver dragon eggs to a select few called kindreds, but Alice has never received one. Next slide. One day, while wandering in the woods, she secretly befriends Brim, an ancient dragon without a kindred of his own. Alice is thrilled until Brim mysteriously falls ill. Next slide. Desperate to save her new friend, Alice embarks on a quest that reveals her connection to dragons is unlike anything seen before. The art in this book is just absolutely beautiful, and I love the color palette. This is the magical start to a rich new fantasy series. Next, get ready to add a vibrant new voice to your YA graphic novel shelves. Red Threads, A Witch's Tale by Ila Nguyen Hayama is a manga-inspired fantasy full of magic, mystery, and heart. 15-year-old Hana Suzuki feels stuck in her routine life in Tokyo until she receives a once-in-a-lifetime invitation to attend Japan's most prestigious magic academy, the Benton School of Esoterics. At first, it's everything she dreamed it would be: spells, creatures, and a new best friend and a fellow student named Yumi. Next slide. But strange things start happening. A ghostly presence haunts the halls. Students are attacked, and the school may be cursed. Can Hana and Yumi solve the mystery before it's too late? Next slide. Blending Japanese and Korean folklore, this is a story of friendship, new beginnings, and finding your power. The bubbly and bright art style will appeal to fans of Mooncakes, Spirited Away, and Witch Hat Atelier. Next, Children of the Night. From Bloom artist Savannah Ganesho and debut author and game developer Victoria Setien comes Children of the Night, a spine-chilling YA graphic novel, a modern and suspenseful reimagining of Dracula. Mina Murray is known around town as the girl obsessed with death. She's a budding photographer with a habit for exploring graveyards, crypts, and anywhere eerie. Next slide. But when a mysterious ship crashes nearby and its captain is found drained of blood, Mina stumbles into something much darker. Soon, strange things start happening around town. Students begin disappearing. Her best friend falls ill with terrible nightmares, and the charming new transfer student seems to have everyone, including Mina's crush, under his spell. Next slide. As Mina investigates, she realizes something ancient and evil has arrived in New Whitby, and if she doesn't stop it, her town may never recover. Perfect for fans of Squad, Lore Olympus, and Castlevania, this first volume in the When Monsters Wake series is a fresh, thrilling twist on a horror classic. Next, just a quick shout out to some of our favorite continuing series this fall. Bones and Berserkers is book 13 in Nathan Hale's best-selling Hazardous Tales series, featuring 13 spooky stories from history just in time for spooky season. Home See Home is the second book in Nidhi Chanani's Super Boba Cafe. Book 1 was named a YALSA Great Graphic Novel and an ALA Best Graphic Novel for Children. Keep It Clean is the 7th title in our Big Ideas That Changed the World series. This time, it's all about the history of sanitation and, yes, poop. And Blast from the Past is a new cosmic adventure of Astrid and Stella, delivering more laughs and social emotional learning lessons. Next, let's talk about graphic novels for older readers and adults from Abrams Comic Arts. In case you missed it, earlier this year, we released Parable of the Talents, the second graphic novel adaptation of Octavia E. Butler's acclaimed Parable series, adapted by Damian Duffy and illustrated by John Jennings and David Brom. Most of you are probably familiar with Butler's work, but in case you're not, the Parable books were originally published in the 1990s. Next slide. These dystopian stories begin in the year 2024, and Butler's vision of America's future is strikingly prophetic, offering powerful and timely messages for today's readers. Next slide. Damian Duffy, John Jennings, and David Brom have masterfully translated these complex narratives into the graphic novel format, creating an accessible entry point for new readers while also enriching this already incredible story with stunning and emotional artwork. And once you finish both adaptations, be sure to check out Kindred, the #1 New York Times bestselling graphic novel from the same talented creative team. Next, 2 standout nonfiction graphic novels. Globetrotters tells the incredible true story of journalists Nellie Bly and Elizabeth Bisland, who raced each other around the world in 80 days. Illustrator Julie Rocheleau, a 3-time Eisner nominee, has a colorful, dynamic, and experimental art style that makes this a real visual treat and a truly engaging read. And The History of World War II is a sweeping and accessible overview of the global conflict, told through major figures like Churchill, FDR, and Stalin. Written by historian Arnaud Delacroix and illustrated in striking black and white by Vicente Cifuentes, it also includes a bibliography for deeper exploration. Together, these titles are must-haves for graphic novel nonfiction collections, perfect for readers interested in journalism, world history, and visual storytelling. And on the next slide, you'll see art from Globetrotters. And on the next slide, you'll see art from the history of the world, World War II. Speaking of nonfiction graphic comics and graphic novels, if your readers have ever wanted to make their own comics, on the next slide, you'll see they won't want to miss Making Nonfiction Comics by Shay Merck and Ellery Harris, 2 award-winning graphic journalists. This is a smart and accessible guide for aspiring creators of all ages. Next slide. This guide blends comics, prose, infographics, and interviews with some of the most notable creators in graphic novel fiction, including Derf Backderf, Box Brown, and Nate Powell, among others. They offer real-world insight into how nonfiction comics are made. Next slide. Harris and Merck introduce readers to the unique possibilities of visual storytelling while also addressing the importance of research and accurate storytelling and reporting, and the journalistic ethics and standards involved in reporting through comics. And of course, in this spread, they also give a lovely shout out to librarians, reminding readers that there's no better resource than their local library. Next, we have a new graphic novel from Shirley Books, ACA's LGBTQ graphic novel imprint, which is curated by creator Mariko Tamaki. Coming this January is Leo Rising by Archie Bongiovanni, who you may remember as the creator of Mimosa. In Leo Rising, readers will meet Laura, who is an online lesbian influencer and part-time owl researcher living in Alaska. By day, she's the internet's lesbian bestie. She's confident, funny, and thriving online. Next slide. But when an old friend returns to town, who is now out as trans, and introduces Laura to queer parties and sex apps she's never experienced before, Laura begins to question everything she knew about her identity. Next slide. In her search for clarity, Laura creates a secret online persona, Leo, a trans man. But when Laura's two worlds begin to collide, the consequences are messy, real, and transformative. Leo Rising is sharp, funny, and deeply honest story about friendship, identity, and what it means to belong in queer spaces. It's the kind of nuanced storytelling Shirley Books does best. Finally, in case you missed it, on the next slide, we launched a new manga imprint last year called Kana. Today, I'm highlighting just two of their standout fall titles from manga living legends Tsukasa Hojo, whose work defined the look and feel of 1980s manga and beyond. Hojo mentored many young creators, and his influence is still seen across manga today. First up, Cat's Eye. This is a sleek and stylish series about three sisters who run a cafe by day and steal art by night. This English edition collects the first 3 volumes of the series, which is equal parts heist, comedy, and romance. With a new anime series currently in development for streaming, it's the perfect time to bring it to your shelves for a new generation of readers. Next slide. Hojo's art is instantly recognizable, bold lines, sharp details, and the stylish glamour of Japan's nightlife era. Next slide. Also available this fall, we have City Hunter, another iconic Hojo series featuring a charismatic detective, gritty action, and whip-smart humor. This is also a collection of the first 3 volumes of the series. Next slide. Both of these Hojo series are essential additions for fans of classic manga, cinematic storytelling, and timeless cool. And I really encourage you to also go check out the rest of Kana's list online as well. Next slide. And that's it for me today. Please be sure to check out our full catalog on abramsbooks.com and on Edelweiss. There are also links to these pages and all the books I presented today in the spreadsheet that Booklist is providing. Thanks for listening, and I'll pass it back to Booklist to close us out.
Thank you so much, Kristen. And a big thank you to all of today's presenters. Tomorrow, all attendees will receive an email containing links to today's slide presentation, title list, certificate of completion, and video recording. For more about Booklist webinars, be sure to visit www.booklistonline.com/webinars, where you can view archives of past webinars and register for upcoming ones like those you see here. You can also find out about the latest webinars on our social channels. Visit us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and now Blue Sky. Have you heard? The digital version of Booklist Reader, the monthly reader's advisory magazine from the editors of Booklist, is now an ALA member benefit. Head over to our new and updated site to start reading. And if you're not already a Booklist subscriber, you can use your ALA membership ID to sign in. Thank you again for joining us for today's webinar, and one more huge thank you to our panelists and to our sponsors, Random House Children's Books, Penguin Young Readers, Fantagraphics, McMeel Publishing, and Abrams. This concludes today's webinar. See you next time.